Let's take you now to Johannesburg Park in the Johannesburg CBD, to that voting station that has the highest number of registered voters in the country. The makeshift tent is the largest voting station for the IEC, following its voting station in London. Now, as voting begins, we're joined by Newzroom Afrika's Karinda Jagmahan. Karinda, just after 7 o'clock, have the people started queuing? It looks like they have.
They have indeed. Voting has begun here at Johannesburg Park in the heart of the Johannesburg CBD. My colleague Kevin Marabella just showing you the lines here. And of course it is the IEC's biggest voting station in South Africa, so much so that there are 3 substations here. So in this one voting station, there are 3 tents essentially that's divided up where various queues are formed. Right now, about 60 people in line. The first person has already casted their vote. He was here from 4:30 in the morning, but some other ladies also lining up from about 5 o'clock as well. So I'm just going to bring in the ladies. Anita, hi, how are you? I know you guys are sipping your coffee trying to keep warm. Anita, tell me about why you wanted to come here and cast your vote first thing in the morning.
My groot rede hoekom ek vanmôre hier is en waarom ek so vroeg môre opgestaan het, is ek soek 'n verandering in Suid-Afrika in. En die groot belangrikste ding is, dit is so belangrik dat hulle aandag moet gee aan die jong kinders. Daar's so baie kinders wat rondloop, drugs gebruik, drank gebruik, rondslaap, en dit is so verkeerd. Dit is my grootste rede waarom ek vanmôre hier sou staan, en ek staan met 'n blye hart, want ek weet daar gaan 'n verandering kom na vandag.
Definitely. So, you speak about youth that are endangered. Anita, what's your message to the youth that are over 18 that can vote today?
Ek kan net aan hulle vanmôre sê, jong mense, kom uit. Dit gaan 'n voordeel vir julle wees om vanmôre uit te kom en vir Suid-Afrika julle se regmerkie te kom maak. Kom uit, jong mense. Dit is net vir julle voorreg.
Important message. Thank you so much, Anita, for speaking to us. Of course, she says that the importance for her to vote right now is to bring change. She says she looks around the community. She sees many youth that are embroiled in drug troubles, among other issues. And so for her, this is one of the reasons she wants to vote, and encouraging other youth who are over the age of 18 and registered to vote to cast their vote and do so. She's among the number, over 16,000 registered voters who will cast their vote here at Johannesburg Station or Johannesburg Park, the 3 substations you're seeing. This is going to be quite a busy day for the IEC officials here. I'll give you an update, and in the next hour we'll see another update as well in terms of security from the Nat Joint, so do stay with us for that.
Yeah, big numbers coming into Johannesburg Park there in the CBD in Johannesburg. Karinda Jagmahan on that one. Now, there are a total of 1.7 million registered voters in the Northwest province for the 2024 elections, with 1,698 voting stations prepared. Law enforcement agencies indicated that they will not hesitate to act against anyone who is undermining the state's authority during the elections, and also monitoring high-risk voting stations. Newzroom Afrika's Refilwe Seboko joins us now from Mahikeng. Refilwe, a good morning to you. What does the voter turnout look like today in Mahikeng?
Well, Naledi, I can tell you this much. We are in Kebonang Secondary School, which is one of the voting stations here in the Northwest Province. And in terms of the voter turnout, I'll ask my colleague Zwelake just to show you that community members are already here queuing. I've already counted just over 70 people that are here becoming impatient. Of course, the station have opened on time, but the voting process has not started as yet. But these communities, some of them, they were asking that officials, the presiding officer, must then now allow them to walk into the rooms, go into their booth, and so that they can be able to cast their vote. You'll understand that, Naledi, these are some of the people that now have to go to work, as one of them is a teacher who was indicating that they need to go to work, and because he is a teacher. But let me tell you just a little bit about, maybe just to make a recap of what, maybe look into the 2019 election in relation to the voting district that were captured at that time. This moment in time which we are dealing with 1,698 voting stations for these 2024 elections. But comparison to the voting district that were captured in 2019, it was about 1,733 with a total valid votes of 954,083, 836 that of total valid votes that were had been cast by different citizens here in the Northwest Province during the 2019 elections. But also we are understanding that today there's going to be monitoring of high-risk voting stations, as the Northwest Department, rather the Northwest Police had indicated, just so that they make sure that the voting process go accordingly here in the Northwest Province.
All right, that's the Northwest Province. Coming out of that province, we head now to the Free State, where citizens in the Central Province are ready to cast their ballots. Despite several service delivery failures, residents are positive about the polls. Our reporter Zinyiko Mhlaba is in Bloemfontein and joins us now live. Zinyiko, it is now 13 minutes past 7. Did the voting stations there open on time?
Good morning, Naledi. Yes, indeed. I can confirm that the voting station in Ward 6 in Bloemfontein, in a township called Pieterswart, opened on time. Actually, we got here not so long ago, and I think they were opened 30 minutes before in terms of opening their doors, just double checking that everything is in order. And by 7 o'clock, they officially started now with attending to some senior citizens who are here. And in terms of the turnout so far, well, it's very, very impressive, because a lot of people woke up very early in the morning, and the first person who will be voting as the first voter, as the first person online says, got here at about 5 o'clock. So that's the queue from the entry point, from the gate. As you can see, that people are waiting patiently and doing just estimates in terms of the number of people who are here already. I'm looking at about close to 100 people who are already queuing up. So you can imagine, how many of them will be able to cast their vote, and the numbers of people we're expecting here. So let's get a sense of how people are feeling so far. Naledi, dumelang Malikai, kopa unjwetsa gore o ikutlwa jwang go ba motho wa mathomo, group ya mathomo go vote today?
Ke ikutlwa ke thabile haholo ntate ka dikgetho tsena tse re leng ho tsona tsatsing ene ke tshepa hore mokgatlo re tlo voutela o tlo re sebeletse ska ba tshwana le emeng e fitile.
All right, so in terms of the opening of the voting, so you can see that the entrance is there. People are already attending to the ballots. Officials are already, operating in terms of attending to some people. The gentleman you see there was one of the first people to get here and still waiting. He's just waiting to be called in. Let's get more comment. Mama, thank you very much for your time. How do you feel about being here? In a minute?
Ek is baie opgewonde. Ons moet vote, want dit kom ons toe. Ek weet nie wat die vote hoe voel nie, want hulle weet nie wat is lekker om te vote. Dit is baie lekker om te vote. Ek is baie opgewonde vir hierdie dag. Maar die mense moet net weet, as hulle sê 7 uur, nie after 7 nie. Dis hoe dit werk.
Thank you. So people are just complaining that it's past 7 o'clock now. They're saying 7 is supposed to be 7. They were here very much on time. They are saying that they still need to go to work. So that's the latest from us here in Pieterswart in Bloemfontein, Ward 6.
All right, very eager voters in Bloemfontein. Zinyiko Mhlaba on that one. We'll take you now to the Union buildings, where we find our reporter Ngobile Madlala. Ngobile, South Africans will be voting for the 7th administration that will be running the country. What are you seeing outside the Union buildings?
Excitement, that's what we are seeing, Naledi. In fact, in the front line, we saw 2 young people that are going to be voting for the first time. And of course, the voting registration has started. The voting has started, as you can see. Some of the lines have already gone inside the tent. So already those two young people that were telling me that they're going to be voting for the first time have already gone in. But of course, quite iconic, the building that we're standing in, because this has become the seat of government. And of course, you'll remember that during that time of COVID, this is where President Ramaphosa will do most of his address. So just to remember why the Union Buildings is so important, I want to bring in now Brian to speak about it. Because, I mean, one would think that the building holds quite a lot of history, but how important is it to the new government, to the 30 years of freedom?
So the Union Buildings is a very important building. It was designed in 1910. At the time, a seat of government for a very different South Africa to the South Africa that we have today. So the building was designed as a symbol of unity between what they saw as the two people of South Africa, so the English and the Afrikaans people. And then it became a seat of power of the apartheid government, so it represented apartheid brutality and sort of the denial of human rights in South Africa. And by 1994, this becomes the place where Madiba is inaugurated, and it transforms its meaning from having been this brutal sort of building that represented, you know, first a colonial state and then an apartheid state, to a symbol of a democratic South Africa, so a symbol of unity in South Africa. And it's got this beautiful central gathering space, which is like a Lekgotla space, which represents a place where all the people of South Africa can come together in one building that represents our government.
It's amazing how it has changed over time, of course, what it stands for.
Absolutely. I think it's such a South African thing to take a sometimes quite difficult and traumatic past and, you know, sort of very different meanings and translate these into a democratic South Africa and a future that's a much brighter future and a future that's about all South Africans.
And of course, that future is going to be determined, of course, by these people behind you. But Mabaso, talking about who exactly they want in power in the next 7th administration. Can you tell us how important are these national symbols to South Africans and what these symbols stand for? What unites us?
The national symbols are the elements of our national identity. They inform people who we are. They represent us in more than one way. They are also indicative of where we want to move as a country. If you look at the flag, it just gives you a little bit of a history of where we are coming from, that we are divided in the past. And as we are moving forward, we move in unison, in one. The flag form part of the 3 primary national symbols. The second national symbol will be the coat of arms, which is also got a motto, which is also asking people and commanding people to unite. It is written in Khoisan language, say diverse people unite. And then you move to the third one, which is the national anthem, which is also like a prayer for the country to prosper, to be safe, for peace in the continent and also in our country. But as it proceeds, the last part of it is also a command for us to come together as one, to move forward as people.
Very important there, Bamaba. So in terms of unity, and that unity now shown behind me from those voters that are going to be deciding, Tuna Lady, what happens next.
All right, Mobile Matala speaking to us there outside the Union Buildings.